doing this to me? Hello? Now there's audio. Dude, what? I hate Windows. I hate Windows. That's what I was saying. I hate Windows so much. They're so frustratingly annoying. You get on an Apple product, you get on Mac, and it just works. It just works. There's no stupid updates that they sneak up on you. If they do it in the middle of the night, which is just so smart. Windows is like, oh, you want to use your computer now? Actually, sorry, I have to update for 35 minutes. Apologies for being late, guys. Thank you for hanging around. Thank you for being here for the second ever episode of This is Baseball with GiraffeNeckMarc. You guys are the best. How are we all doing today, everybody? Since we're late, I'm going to give you like 5 minutes at the start. Just how we doing? How we feeling? We got a lot of great baseball to talk about that happened yesterday. So you know we're going to hop right into that. And look, listen, ready for this? You know how yesterday we had some issues with, the underdog stuff loading up and all that? Look at these new graphics I got on the screen. Those are the picks of the day. You'll get those in a minute once we start getting a few more people in here, and we will talk about it. But God, I hate Windows products. I hate them. But I'm glad you guys are here with me today, hanging out. You saw we put up a clip yesterday. Still in the process again, like I said. This is the first week of This is Baseball. It's kind of like a pilot, kind of like a little bit of a test run before we get going fully into the season, probably next week. So if there's any comments, questions, concerns, things that you guys think I can improve on to make this stream, to make this show a lot better, please do drop it in the chat. We really do appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. I'm the only one doing this right now. So it's a solo team. It's a one-person crew. We are going to have some guests on later this week. Working on getting my boy Jabari Blash on here, which would be absolutely epic. Would love to get him on very, very soon. Otherwise, we are going to just talk about baseball today, and we have a few things that are going to be the main topics. We'll, of course, go through every game, but you'll be able to tell what I really want to talk more about. Some games just not as worth it as much. Let's be honest. Some games were just pretty straightforward. This is going to be awesome, though. Episode number 2 of This is Baseball, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out, being with me today. If you are new to the stream, make sure you do hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out. We're streaming daily, Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to as late as 1 p.m. I won't guarantee we go to then, but that would be the latest right before the 1 o'clock games start. And if you are enjoying the stream, you're enjoying the content, make sure you do drop a like on the stream. It really does help support the channel. Send it to new people. YouTube's like, oh, people like this? We need to show it to more people. So that would be great, guys. Thank you so much. Without further ado, let's get going into talking about some baseball here. I need to go ahead and make my screen a little bit smaller so I can still see what's going on over here. And first thing we got to talk about on the day is going to be, I got to actually load up. Let's go ahead and just rip the Band-Aid off about the Mets. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off about the Mets because it was not pretty. It was not pretty at all. Mets got absolutely shelled. It was not a good look for your boys. We couldn't keep a lead. We couldn't swing the bats well. Carlos Carrasco looked pretty horrible. He looked pretty bad, about as bad as he really could look. Which is not something that we're too excited about over here in Mets fan world. But hopefully he'll be able to clean it up a little bit. Hopefully he'll be able to, figure some stuff out because we need him to be good. If this team wants to be successful, Carlos Carrasco has to be there. And the velo was down, not getting a lot of swing and misses. The offense was bad yesterday. I mean, we did run into Freddie Peralta. We were at a major pitching disadvantage, even though it was like technically the 5-starter for the Mets and the 4-starter for the Brewers. Major pitching advantage. Was not great. Yeah, Cookie, what happened is real. I mean, the Brewers just raked. The Mets have also, I believe, lost 16 of their last 19 in Milwaukee. This is a place where dreams go to die. I don't know if it's because the indoor stadium, Miller Park, whatever it is it even called Miller Park anymore? I don't even think it's called that, but that stadium just gives me weird vibes, and it feels like every time the Mets play there, they play absolutely horrible. Cookie was throwing it right down the middle. Bryce Terang hit his first home run, a grand slam. He had a hell of a game, 2 for 3 with 4 RBIs. He was an absolute menace. Joey Weimer, my boy, he threw out Daniel Vogelback trying to run to second base, stretch out a single into a double, which something Daniel Vogelback should never be doing. We would never call him fast. We would never call him fleet of foot. We would never call him quick. Daniel Vogelback is a big burly boy who needs to hit balls and not actually do too much running. Brian Anderson, Met Killer, 2 for 3 with a home run as well. Just everybody pretty much had a good game except for Christian Yelich, who struck out 4 times. Freddie Peralta looked pretty good as well. He struggled a little bit in the first inning. The Mets had the opportunity to put some pressure on him. They didn't. And then Bryce Wilson gets the 3-inning save. Again, not going to go crazy about this game necessarily. Brewers are a good team. Mets are a good team. These are two things we said. I said this is like a bit of a playoff prediction pitching matchup, possibly. Although I don't think Carrasco will be pitching in the playoffs for the Mets, especially if he continues like this. Just hope he's not hurt. I hope he's not hurt. We need innings out of him. We need him to be healthy. We need him to be better. He's had a couple slow starts to the season the last few years, but not a great start for your boys in blue. So, Mets, quick one, rip that Band-Aid off. Don't want to talk about it too much. Another game that was kind of straightforward and easy is going to be the San Francisco Giants going up against the Chicago White Sox. Michael Kopech was actually pitching pretty well until, I think it was like, the 4th inning? And then I think he gave up 4 home runs in 1 inning. Is that correct? Let me go ahead and click this. Yeah, you got in the 5th inning. Conforto, Tyro Estrada, Mike Yastrzemski, David Villar all hit home runs. 4 home runs in the 5th inning going up against Michael Kopech. I had him at 5.5 strikeouts yesterday. He got 5, so that's brutal, especially because he was kind of just cruising before that. I actually want to see what his velo looked like, because I wonder if his stuff started to tick down towards the end of his appearance, which would kind of make sense based on if they just start teeing off against him. Let's go with pitch velo here. Let's sort by Kopech. I don't know why everything's in caps here, probably because I have caps lock on. And I want to see what inning. Does it tell me? Okay, I don't want pitch 91. I want from pitch 1. So pitch 1, he was sitting around 96. He got up to 97. Yep, the velo just completely tanked. The velo just completely dropped. My goodness, yeah, that explains everything. Michael Kopech throwing 96 versus Michael Kopech throwing 93 is a huge difference. That's also a huge concern that about 25 pitches into the game, the velo just completely tanked. I also shit on the Giants yesterday, and what do you know? They had the best offensive game of their season. 7 home runs total. 4 home runs in the span of 5 batters. Yoan Moncada is still absolutely on fire. Luis Robert is playing really well. So that's good if you're a White Sox fan to keep an eye out for, is that those guys in the middle of your order are doing well. Still can't for the life of me understand how Andrew Benintendi is hitting 3rd in this lineup. But I guess the White Sox are going to be doing White Sox type things. For the Giants on the pitching side, Tony Disco had a really nice start, only giving up 3 hits and 4 strikeouts. No walks, 6 innings. Sean Manaea came in relief. I actually did not know that. Why did they use Sean Manaea in relief? Are they using him in relief? Is he not a starter? Don't understand that move whatsoever. Clearly, it did not necessarily work, but it was a 12-3 game, so it really doesn't matter. Giants win, move past the White Sox. Next up, we got the Cubs and the Reds. Cubs and the Reds for you. This was a game that I was actually watching pretty closely. Drew Smyly looked about as bad as you could. He was not very effective. He was not locked in. The Reds batters were all over him. And on the Red side, Connor Overton was also not very good, not locked in, getting hit hard. It's the Reds versus the Cubs. I feel like you're going to see a lot of offense in this series just because it's a bandbox as well in Cincinnati. You saw Cody Bellinger hit a home run in the first inning, which is encouraging if you're a Cubs fan, but I think that might be his only hit on the season. I think. It's not very good. Not trying to shit on Cody Bellinger, but maybe Cubs, you don't hit him 4th. Maybe you put him down in the order. If he was hitting like 9th in the Dodgers lineup, maybe that's a little bit of a sign. Ian Happ still hitting the ball well. Dansby Swanson still absolutely locked in 3 for 5. Another great day. But the Cubs pitching just simply was not good enough. Drew Smyly gave up 6 earned in 4 2/3. You saw Keegan Thompson come in. Actually has some decent stuff. Looks like he could be an okay pitcher. I like him in this bit of a stretch role here, getting like 3 1/3 innings. Drew Smyly, though, probably is a couple bad starts away from not being on the Cubs anymore because you just can't really continue to put that guy out there if he keeps getting shelled. And the Reds, first place in the NL Central. 3-1 for the Reds. First place, Spencer Steer. Kind of hits. Doesn't really have a position, but can hit. Tyler Stevenson can kind of hit. This is the thing we've been saying. Like, there's going to be some guys that are okay on this team that you want to keep an eye out for. But for the most part, the Reds are not really an exciting team and not something we need to talk about too much. It's just, it's not necessarily the most exciting thing to talk about. Let's go ahead and move on to the Minnesota Twins versus the Miami Marlins. Minnesota is just cruising, and the Marlins are just bruising. The Marlins absolutely stink. Didn't help that Johnny Cueto came out of this game early after getting shelled. Only pitched 1 inning, I believe, left with an injury. Who is this Lindgren guy? I feel like I've seen this name before. It's Jeff Lindgren. Okay, did he pitch at all before? Nope. Yesterday was his debut. What a debut. I mean, maybe not. He gave up 4 earned in 5 innings, but coming in a tough situation, not too bad. This Marlins team, like we said the other day, is just simply bad. If they don't get lights out pitching, this is what's going to happen. They're not going to score a lot of runs. And if I am correct, I got to assume that the Marlins have scored the least amount of runs in baseball right now for any team. I feel like that's got to be the case, right? I mean, they have not scored much. Yeah, they've scored 9. They're tied with the Nationals for the least amount of runs. Not a great grouping of guys here. Now, of course, the Phillies and Diamondbacks I expect to be a little bit better, but Tigers, Marlins, Nationals makes a lot of sense for the worst offensive teams in baseball. And the Tigers won a game yesterday, and they scored, 7 runs yesterday? Talk about that in a second. Johnny Cueto, though, was horrible. Twins keep swinging the bat extremely well. Max Kepler, Joey Gallo is back. Joey Gallo is back. I mean, granted, he's hitting 308. It's going to go down. He's probably going to finish the year 230, 240 area. But if that power is there, Joey Gallo could be really, really effective for this Minnesota Twins team. Trevor Larnach swinging the bat really well, which is huge for them. They just need a healthy year out of him, and they can do big things. Larnach, obviously a former top prospect, dealt with injuries the last few years, but has been swinging the bat a lot better. And the pitching was good. Tyler Mahle, 5 innings, 7 Ks. The bullpen, clean. Jorge Alcala. I believe this is Cole Sands, right? I think you are Cole Sands. You are Cole Sands. Good. I'm glad I know a 9th reliever on the Marlins, on the Twins. And yes, as Nick in the chat says, Jazz is still absolutely awful in center field. All right, chat. Let's go ahead and let's survey here. How long does Jazz Chisholm last in center field? Today is April 4th. What is the date that Jazz Chisholm no longer plays center field? I'm not saying gets out of the lineup because the Marlins desperately need his bat. But how long until they say, you know what, this center field project, maybe not the best idea. Maybe we move on from it. Maybe we don't continue this because it's absolutely insane. Because I can't wrap my head around the idea of still playing Jazz Chisholm at that position. He's not good at it. He's not good at it. You think they give him the full season is what EB Camp says. A lot of May 1st, mid-July until May, till next year. Wow. I mean, that's like malpractice, honestly. That's malpractice. You have a young budding star that you could develop and make into an actual good player, and you're like, why don't I F you up? Put you at a position that you're never going to play. Never going to play. You shouldn't be playing. There's no reason to be playing it. Why don't I put you there, see how you do, and screw up your season. How about that? Now, what we're going to do next here is, you guys know Underdog is a sponsor of the channel. Underdog, you can play daily fantasy. You can do pick'ems. It's a really fun way to just continue to follow the baseball season. Maybe even make some money if you're interested. If you're good at this stuff, you can make some money. So I put the link in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and pin it to the top of the chat as well. If you go to that link, it will take you right to Underdog. If you sign up for the first time ever, Underdog will match your first time deposit up to $100. So if you put in $100, Underdog will give you $100 on top of that for free. So you'll have $200 in your account. You put in $50, they'll give you $50. It's really fun. It's something that I've been doing a lot of. Obviously, if you're really smart, you can do really well. And one thing I'm going to show you every single day on this stream is my picks. Now, yesterday when I loaded Underdog up, it crashed the stream. So, Mark, being proactive content boy today, content brain, we got the picks ready for you before the stream even started. And you can see I got a 4-pick here today, $7 to win 70. Of course, if you're following along on picks or if you're fading me, whatever it is, make sure you play responsibly. Of course, make sure you're smart about it. But I saw the lines last night. I saw some things that I liked. Kenta Maeda going up against the Marlins. Kenta Maeda's looked good in the spring. The Marlins are tied or second most strikeouts in Major League Baseball. They've looked absolutely horrible. I feel so good about Kenta Maeda at 4.5 strikeouts. I also feel really, really good about Sandy Alcantara, lower than 6.5 strikeouts. Only struck out 2 Mets the other day in his first start of the season, and the Twins have not struck out a lot this year. They've actually struck out some of the fewest in baseball, so I like Sandy under 6.5 strikeouts. I love Julio Urias over 5.5. He's kind of been hanging around that the last few starts, especially to start the year, and the Rockies lineup stinks and strikes out a ton, so over 5.5 feels good. The one I am a little bit worried about, a little bit sketched out, is Domingo Germán, lower than 5. Philly has been kind of middle of the pack in strikeouts this year. They haven't been great offensively. I am just kind of banking on the fact that the Phillies lineup is eventually going to wake up, especially in Yankee Stadium, and Domingo Germán stinks. I mean, I don't think he's a good pitcher. So these are my picks I'm rocking with today. These are the 4. Kenta Maeda higher than 4.5. Domingo Germán lower than 5. Sandy Alcantara lower than 6.5. And Julio Urias higher than 5.5. Again, if you guys want to play along with me at home, want to do daily fantasy, do your own pick'ems, there's a link at the top of the chat that will send you to Underdog, partner of mine this season. Use promo code GNM when you're signing up, and they will match your first-time deposit for $100. Up to $100, depending on how much you put in. That is my shameless shilling for the day. It really does help me out if you guys do subscribe. And we'll come back tomorrow and see how my picks did. We'll see if I won. Try to get some money. Here we go. All right, let's go back to talking about some baseball for you guys here. Next up, we have the Tampa Bay Rays versus the Washington Nationals. And let me tell you, not that the Rays have been playing anybody good by any means. I mean, they've been playing some bad teams. They've probably honestly had the easiest start to the year out of any team in baseball. You get to play the Tigers and the Nationals. You're feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good. The thing I want to really talk about here, besides Wander Franco being the boy, Luke Raley hit 2 home runs. I mean, the Nationals are just bad. Trevor Williams is a great guy to have as your depth. He didn't even really have a bad start. That's a very Trevor Williams start. 5 innings, 3 earned runs, getting hit a little bit, a couple strikeouts here and there. Mason Thompson, good in relief. Shocked about that. He's not particularly that great. But with the Rays, we got to draw attention to Drew Rasmussen. Drew Rasmussen might be the most underrated pitcher in baseball. Now, I know I said that yesterday about Graham Ashcraft, but hear me out. Hear me out, YouTube. Drew Rasmussen might be the most underrated pitcher in Major League Baseball. Yesterday, we saw in his season debut, first start of the year, 6 innings, 2 hits, no walks, no earned runs, 7 strikeouts. Now, everything taken with a grain of salt. He's going up against the Nationals lineup. And when you look at the Nationals lineup, I mean, how many Major League hitters are there? Okay, we have Joey Meneses, but he's playing like crap. Dom Smith, but he hasn't hit a home run in 600-plus days. Keibert Ruiz is a major leaguer. Lane Thomas is a major leaguer. C.J. Abrams has had a god-awful start to the year. Ildemaro Vargas stinks. Victor Robles is not. So there's about 3 major league players. 3.5. That's where we'll set the line. Over, under, 3.5 major league players in this lineup yesterday for the Nationals. So it's not like Drew Rasmussen had the hardest of challenges to go through. It's not like he had the most difficult of challenges to go through. But he's been so good for what has been the last few years now. Let me go ahead and pull up some Drew Rasmussen stats for you because he has just been really, really good the last few years. You see, it goes back to Milwaukee and Tampa Bay in 2021, Tampa turning him into a starter, but he had a 2.84 ERA in 2021 in 76 innings. Really good stuff. Whip, low ones. FIP 3.09. He obviously was striking out more batters than he is now, but that's mostly because he was coming out of the relief role. He was also walking a ton more batters. The Rays said, hey, wait a second, you'll be great. You'll be awesome. Let's just make you into a starting pitcher. And you saw in 59 innings, he was great. Last year, he came back 28 starts, 2.84 ERA, 146 innings pitched, 1.04 whip, 3.26 FIP. I have to take this call from my landlord real quick. Got a good landlord, guys. Got a good landlord. You never see anybody smile when they're talking to their landlord. Shout out my boy Kieran. All right, let's go ahead and get back on the Drew Rasmussen train. So I was talking about his innings pitched went up. His strikeouts, his K rate's not necessarily the craziest, but he doesn't walk anybody, limits hard contact. Whip at 0.141 last year, 3.26 FIP. And then this year, he's off to a great start. Drew Rasmussen, we got to get on this dude's level here. We got to start learning about him. Even look at what he did last year in terms of StatCast stuff. His StatCast numbers, from what I remember, looked pretty great in 2022. 2023 obviously is going to look great. 2022 though, really solid stuff. Hard hit rate, hard exit velo, like I'm not going to go crazy about, but the chase rate's phenomenal, the walk rate's phenomenal, great spin. People aren't really barreling up the ball that well. I'm not going to say that Drew Rasmussen by any means is the next Cy Young, the next best pitcher in Major League Baseball, but it's just kind of showing you what the Rays do. Their minor league development is pretty atrocious. It's pretty horrible. Their major league scouting, their pro scouting is out of this world. They took a guy, Drew Rasmussen, who they saw pitch as a reliever for the Brewers and said, we're going to make you into a really effective starter. I think they did the same thing with Jeffrey Springs, essentially. Jeffrey Springs is just really, really good. Rays pitching is going to be phenomenal. I doubted them, and I think it's going to bite me in the butt. I think the Rays are actually going to still be very, very good, especially while Wander Franco plays. When Wander Franco, Randy Arozarena are healthy, this Rays team is very, very dangerous, which sounds weird because it's very top-heavy, but that's Rays baseball, everybody. That's Rays baseball. Drew Rasmussen, dude's a stud. Dude's a stud. You better keep his name on your radar. One of the most underrated pitchers in baseball, maybe the most underrated pitcher. You can let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comments or in the chat. Let me know if you agree. All right, moving on to the next game here. What do we got next to talk about with you guys? Okay. We get to talk about the Phillies being horrible. Now, I'm not going to go on a is it time to panic mode yet. That's not the video I'm dropping yet. I'd love to see the Phillies lose one more game today. I'd love to see them lose 2 more games, honestly. That'd be awesome. But if they lose one more game, we're going to get a Phillies clip on this channel talking about is it time to panic, because it's not right now. It's not tomorrow. It's not the next day. But it's fun. It's fun to wind up Phillies fans. It's fun to wind up the city of Philadelphia. We know it's a garbage city filled with garbage people. Trey Turner's obviously still playing very well. They need to move Kyle Schwarber down the lineup right now. I know this lineup's not great, but there's really no reason to still be hitting him second right now when he's clearly struggling. Struggle bust. Didn't really even have that great of a World Baseball Classic. Hit the home run. Was kind of it. Got to move JT Realmuto up. Move the guys up that are hitting well. I'm not going to say hit Bryson Stott or Brandon Marsh second by any means, because I still think bottom of the order is best for them. But maybe you hit Schwarber fourth. Maybe he doesn't get the second most at-bats on this team right now. It just doesn't really make sense when he's struggling as bad as he is. Taijuan Walker also did not look great. The velo was back, so the concerns of why his velocity was down towards the end of spring training, I think that you can throw those out the window. But he definitely got hit hard for a guy who usually starts the season off really well. I'm a fan of Taijuan's. I like the guy. It's unfortunately went to the Phillies, so I'm not necessarily rooting for him to do the best. I hope the Phillies lose. That's what I want. When he pitches, I want them to lose. I don't necessarily want him to pitch poorly, but I want the Phillies to stink. And they did. Their bullpen, hey, breaking news, they have bad arms. Junior Marte, this guy stinks. This guy's awful. Not good. And look at what I told you about was my big concern with the Phillies. This is the drum I've been banging all offseason. While they might not implode every single game, that's just statistically not going to happen. 3 walks from Junior Marte in a third of an inning. 2 walks from Andrew Vasquez in 2 1/3. 1 walk from Sir Anthony Dominguez in 1 inning. You're going to give up walks. It's going to happen. But the Phillies bullpen has an unsustainably high rate of walking guys. And for a bullpen as well that doesn't have major swing and miss stuff. I mean, Gregory Soto is not a swing and miss guy. Sir Anthony Dominguez is-ish. Oh, my God. Craig Kimbrell is-ish now. I mean, he also has a huge walk problem. There's just a huge problem that can happen with this Phillies bullpen. That's why I don't believe in them. They have the great, phenomenal top-end talent up there with some of the best in baseball. But the rest of this roster is garbage. The rest of this team stinks, and you're seeing it happen right now. They have played 2 good teams so far, and the Rangers being a middling good team, and the Yankees being a very good team. But they can't beat them. It's early in the season. There's no reason to panic, but boy, oh boy, do I love what's happening to the Philadelphia Phillies. This is a dream come true, especially when the Mets played like such dog yesterday. Oh, wait, I got to talk about the Yankees. That was just me shitting on the Phillies. Let me go ahead and talk about the Yankees a little bit here, too. Gleyber Torres really taking advantage of that 245-foot fence in right field. Another home run, poked it over there, 3 walks. James will be on later this week, co-host of the Mets Up podcast with me. He's going to come on Friday. I'm going to have a co-host episode. I think that's going to be something we do on this show a lot, is bring on guests. I think it'll be more fun to have another voice, too. I think the conversation will be a little more smooth. I'm still learning how to live stream a show podcast by myself. So baby steps here. Having a person on will always help. So James will be on later. I'm sure he'll talk, or later this week, I'm sure he'll divulge a ton about why Gleyber Torres is going to have a great year, even though I'm not a believer. But Gleyber Torres is off to a great start. Aaron Judge, of course, off to a great start as well. He's a beast. DJ LeMahieu seems to be a little bit back. We'll see how he plays towards the rest of the year. Anthony Rizzo got that home run. Franchi Cordero getting a double, because of course he did. And they showed during BP that Franchi hit one like 100 or 469 feet, 117 off the bat in BP. That's very funny. Anthony Volpe struggled a little bit. Did get on base, though. That's something to keep an eye out for. Still went 0 for 2, though, with a strikeout, but got on base twice. So, baby steps, positive things. Nestor Cortez. That's the Nestor Cortez I think we can expect more of than the one that we saw necessarily last year. Is just going to be soft contact, not as many strikeouts, not as dominant, but he's going to get the job done. Ian Hamilton, Jonathan Loaisiga, and Clay Holmes came in for the 9th, and he was still absolutely phenomenal. So the Yankees move on easily past the Phillies. I saw someone asking, it was Nate Flynn, if he could review the Pirates game. It was electric. Oh, we're going to talk about it. Let me talk about the Pirates first, because then I want to talk about Masataka Yoshida, because, he's a lot of fun. So Pirates obviously win this game 7-6. It was a chaos game. Cutter Crawford for the Red Sox. Every time I watch this guy pitch, he just gets shelled. I don't know what his deal is. I don't know what's going on there, but every time I've watched Cutter Crawford pitch, he gets absolutely shelled. He has some pitches that move well, but it seems like he just doesn't have the control, doesn't have the command, doesn't necessarily know where these pitches are going all the time, and that kind of shows in the stat line here. Like, he had 6 strikeouts in 4 innings, so his K per 9 looks great, which is why K per 9 is not a good stat, and you should be using strikeout rate. Always better, always elite when you're talking about stats to go over. But Cutter Crawford walked 2 guys, gave up 8 hits, 7 earned runs, 3 home runs, 2 of which came to Brian Reynolds, who has been on an absolute tear. We'll talk about Brian Reynolds a little bit more in a second. We'll just go over this game, and then I'll start talking about the guys. Yes, Cutter Crawford, I believe, does have a cutter as well. O'Neal Cruz hitting the ball hard as he always does. Jason DeLay getting a home run. That's not something you expect to see too often. Game started off with 8 runs in the first inning. And then the Pirates scored a run every single inning until the 4th. And then the Red Sox scored 1. And then that was the end of this game. Johan Oviedo is absolutely horrendous. He should not be pitching. He's terrible. He's awful. He's bad. He's a bad pitcher. He's not good, Johan Oviedo. It's just really that simple. He's bad. And the Pirates bullpen actually did a pretty good job afterwards, only giving up 1 earned run. So you got to tip the cap there. Dave Bednar getting the save. Don't know how much longer he'll stay in Pittsburgh, just because someone's going to want to trade for him. He's very, very good. Someone's going to want this guy on his team. But otherwise, pretty straightforward game. Now, Brian Reynolds, we got to talk about him. Off to a great start this year. Like I said, 2 home runs in this game. 108 off the bat, 104. These balls were absolutely smoked. He crushed them, and he's been hitting the ball hard consistently to start the year. I'm not an average exit velo guy. It doesn't necessarily really tell the whole story, but his average exit velo is up in these first, 4 games of the season as it was from last year. He's playing great defense again. Brian Reynolds is looking like he's poised to have another all-star phenomenal year. Off to a great start with the 2 dongers thus far, up to 3 on the season. And it leads to the question of, is Brian Reynolds one of the best center fielders in baseball? And when you look at his numbers, yeah, definitely is. I think I had him in my top 5 or 6 in my rankings. I don't necessarily remember where I put him. Maybe some of you in the chat will remember more. Maybe the Pirates fan will remember more. But he's put up now 2 good years in a row in 2021 and 2022. He had the phenomenal rookie year that we saw in 2019. In 2023, he's off to a great start. So where does this put Brian Reynolds? Do the Pirates trade him, or is this the guy that you build around? If you're building around him, you do have control over him until 2026, so it's kind of got to happen soon. You've got 3 seasons left, essentially, 2023, 24, and 25, to get the most out of Brian Reynolds, or Do you trade him? His value is going to be extremely high. This contract here, dirt cheap, dirt cheap. Brian Reynolds is essentially free. He doesn't hit arbitration until next season. He's going to be cheap, relatively speaking, in arbitration too. Like none of those guys that hit arb, especially for teams that would want to be wanting to trade for Brian Reynolds. I mean, is this even a conversation? Maybe Pirates don't want to trade him. This is where you come into the predicament with Brian Reynolds. Do you keep him? Do you keep him and you try and maximize this window here? Do you try and extend him a little bit early and maybe get him to 2028? I don't know why Brian Reynolds would do that because he's going to be 30 by the time that he hits free agency, right? No, he'll be 31 when he hits free agency. 30 in age, 31-year-old season he'll be getting signed for. He probably is in this weird spot of I need a long-term extension that's going to take me to like 34, 35, or trade me. And I don't know what to do for the Pirates because he is really, really good. But clearly they are not ready to win now, right now. But then if you trade him, who's going to be that next guy up? Who's going to be your center fielder every day? It's really, really hard to find an everyday center fielder. So I don't know. And then you got to think about who realistically could trade for Brian Reynolds and give you a package that's good enough. All right, let's just go through some teams that are competitive and that could honestly have enough prospects to get Brian Reynolds. The Marlins have always been a name that's floated around. They don't have it. You're going to give up Yuri Perez, and that's probably not enough still. You need a little bit more than Yuri Perez, and he's kind of their only real good prospect right now. The Phillies need a center fielder. The Phillies have Andrew Painter. They're not giving him up. They have no prospects. Phillies aren't doing that. The Braves, nope. Mets, nope. Go to the Central, probably not trading with a team in the Central. Probably just not happening. You go out west, maybe the Dodgers. Maybe the Dodgers could be a team that would want Brian Reynolds. They definitely have the prospect capital back. They also have Major League ready guys now, but would the Dodgers want to give up Major League ready guys when they kind of need them for their own team? Someone brings up the Astros in the chat. Astros could definitely use them. Do they have the prospects? I don't think so. I don't think the Astros have a package that really makes sense. Like, Drew Gilbert would be kind of the guy. I guess that's like their big dude, but they don't really have these prospects or enough of them that I think are enticing for the Pirates. It's a really weird spot where they want a lot, need a lot. I don't think anybody's really going to be able to give them that much. So Brian Reynolds, I think, is going to probably stick around in Pittsburgh this season as of right now. They're playing decent baseball, 2-2. I think they're probably going to let a month or two go before they decide what they're going to do with Brian Reynolds before they make a decision. It's going to be interesting, though. He is someone that is probably going to be a hot name at the trade deadline. Some other names that you guys are throwing in the chat that I absolutely love seeing. I like seeing the Guardians on there. I think the Guardians definitely have the prospects to do it, but will they then want to give up those prospects for a guy that they are going to lose in a couple years? Are they going to give him a contract? Orioles have too many outfielders. I don't think that they're going to necessarily do that. Rangers could definitely do it as well. Rangers definitely, I think, have the prospect capital to get a guy like Brian Reynolds, and they definitely need a center fielder. Move Adolis to the corner would be much better. I don't know. The Brian Reynolds conundrum is super interesting, but boy, oh boy, is he off to a great start. And then I also want to talk about Masataka Yoshida a little bit, give him some shine. I know the Red Sox lost, but Masataka Yoshida is off to a scalding hot start. They hit him fourth in this lineup. A lot of people were a little confused. He's a smaller dude. The power was a big question. Would the power translate over to the majors? Would he be able to hang with the major league pitching? There's a lot of questions and concerns. He obviously went off in the WBC. He broke the record for the most RBIs in a World Baseball Classic tournament. Integral part of the middle of that order for Team Japan. And he's showing that he's a really, really important part of the middle of the order for this Boston Red Sox team. Yesterday, got his first home run, opposite field in the first inning off Johan Oviedo over the Green Monster. Apparently, a little kid caught the ball. He's not giving it up. That's messed up. That's on the parents. Gotta make him give the ball up. Now, I'm not saying don't get your stuff, like get a signed jersey, get tickets to a game. I want this, I want that. I think they should get something in return. But at the same time, you got to give Masataka Yoshida his first major league home run ball back. It's just such a special moment, and he hit the Green Monster at home at Fenway. I think Red Sox fans should be really, really excited about him. Now, do I think he's going to finish the season with an 871 OPS and hit close to 300 with a 400 on-base percentage? Probably not. I think everything drops down a little bit. I think he probably could finish the year realistically, though, right around an 800 OPS, a WRC plus, maybe hanging around that 120-ish range. Maybe hitting 260, 275, 375, 360 on base percentage. If you are a Red Sox fan and you see that from Masataka Yoshida, you would be just absolutely ecstatic. You would be to the moon. You would be so excited if that's the season that Masataka Yoshida gives you. 81st percentile in max exit velo is also really cool with him. I think that's something to point out. I want to pull that up for you guys here real quick. At least that's what it was yesterday. I don't know if it's updated yet and it's changed. But as of yesterday, what's happening there? A little bit of a glitch. What's going on? Show me the percentile rankings here, Baseball Savant. They hate Masataka Yoshida, I guess. They don't want to show me what his percentile rankings are. But max exit velo, he has been hitting the ball hard. 108 is pretty solid. Like to see him get a little bit higher, but he is 5'8". He is a smaller dude, so still even hitting the ball that hard is really impressive. And it feels like he's coming on with runners on every single time. And to be fair, that's a little bit of credit to the top of the order of this Red Sox team. Alex Verdugo leading off, got on base 3 times yesterday. Rafael Devers hitting second, got on base twice. Justin Turner got on base yesterday as well, and that sets up for a guy like Masataka Yoshida and even Adam Duvall, who's been popping off. Adam Duvall is scalding hot to an unsustainable clip right now to drive in those runs. We know the Red Sox are going to be bad. The pitching's going to be a problem. They are going to score a ton of runs, though. This offense is going to be a lot of fun. You'll tip your cap there to Heimblum. Might have built a fun Rays type offense without these big names. But their pitching is horrible. Their pitching is just so incredibly bad. It's going to be hard for them to win a lot of games. All right, let's move on to the next one here. We got to talk about the Blue Jays and the Royals. The main story for me this game is that Jose Barrios is dead. He's dead. Jose Barrios looked absolutely horrible. Now, I want to dive a little bit deeper into the Savant numbers and see just how bad it actually got yesterday. Like, what was his whiff rate? Was it atrocious? That sounds a little mean. Was his whiff rate atrocious? We'll find out. All right, let's go 4-3 here. Let's pull up the Blue Jays game. Your boy did win some money, though, yesterday. Made a little bet that Vinny Pasquantino. Is Baseball Savant just down? Is Baseball Savant just not working? That would really suck. I'd love to have it work. Nope, not working. Great. Baseball Savant is not working. Just one of those days for me here. Technology's failing me all day today, guys. Technology's failing me all day today. But you see the line from Jose Barrios. He just absolutely stinks. He absolutely stinks. He's dead. I really think if you're a Blue Jays fan, it's time to write him off. I honestly think if you're the Blue Jays, it's time to maybe move him to a new role because you can't let him go out there. He still throws 5 2/3 innings, I guess, but he gave up 9 hits, 8 earned runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts is like nice, but the K rate's bad again. Why we care about K rate and not walks per 9. He's just, he's not good. He's not good. Not good. And if you're a Blue Jays fan, the pitching is starting to be a little concerning, a little bit. Because Jose Barrios has shown he sucks. Yusei Kikuchi is probably going to stink it up today. There's not a lot of hope there in that back end of that rotation over a long season. If you want to win the division, you need that rotation to be better. Jose Barrios is not that guy. And they're still hitting. Bo Bichette still hits. They put up 10 hits, scored 5 runs. That should be a game that you win most of the time. It's just Jose Barrios really shit the bed. And in terms of the Royals, 10 hits, 9 runs. They were getting on base a ton. They were getting big hits. Vinny Pasquantino, like I said, had that double. Bobby Witt Jr. was hitting the ball all over the yard again, which is really impressive for them. MJ Melendez got his first home run of the season. Just a pretty simple game. The Royals were just better than the Blue Jays. Both starting the season 1-3. Not what you want to see if you're a fan from north of the border in Canada in Toronto. Before I talk about the next game, guys, really would appreciate it if you do drop a like on this stream. We're at 37 right now. Would love to hit 50. And if you are new to this channel, if you are new to the stream, if you like what you're seeing, subscribe to it. My name is Mark, GiraffeNeckMarc. You probably know my main baseball channel. If you don't, what are you doing? Go subscribe over there too. But this is going to be a daily baseball show where we go over what happened the day before. I'm going to give you some storylines, some talk. It's kind of like a podcast-ish setting. Still working out the kinks, still working out the graphics, still working out all the official stuff that's going to make the show look professional. But this is the first week that we're doing the show, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to about 12:30-ish. 1 o'clock would be the latest that the show ever runs. So if you like what you're seeing here, make sure you do subscribe and do drop a like on the stream. It really does help support the channel. All right, let's talk about the Braves and the Cardinals here as we are approaching the 1 hour mark, coming up to noon here in just under 10 minutes. That is not the game I spoke about. That is Tigers Astros. Let's go to Braves Cardinals, please. Thank you. Braves smacked around the Cardinals. You want to know why? This is why I get scared of the Cardinals. We talked about it yesterday on the show, on the stream. The Cardinals offense is absolutely disgusting. And again, 12 hits. I mean, sometimes you just don't score runs, right? 12 hits, 4 runs, like that. They arguably had a better offensive game than the Braves. They only struck out 6 times too. How does that even happen? How do you only score 4 runs, actually? Maybe I should watch this game a little bit more. But Jake Woodford stinks. That's the story. Jake Woodford stinks, and this is why the Cardinals are a little bit scary and why the Brewers make me a little bit more excited, while the Cardinals lineup is absolutely disgusting. Like we said yesterday, the best lineup in baseball. Jake Woodford stinks. He stinks. Steven Matz is pitching today. He stinks too. The Braves offense also looks solid. Ronald Acuna, I think we'll say Ronald Acuna is back, right? He hit the home run to opposite field. Swinging the bat really, really well, hitting the ball hard, running the bases well. Everything that you'd be worried about Ronald Acuna, you're not worried anymore. I think Ronald Acuna is completely back, and we're going to see that top player go back to where he was. 2022 was just a bit of a fluke season, and even then he was still like 20% better than league average. Oh, I love being a Mets fan. Matt Olson's still great. Austin Riley hit a bomb yesterday. Travis d'Arnaud just coming into the middle of this order and still being a beast, which is personal hell for me as a Met fan, even though he was done with us, but then he became good with the Braves. That one hurts. That one hurts a lot. Good to see that Marcell Ozuna's playing poorly, though. We know he likes to swing his fist around a little liberally. Glad to see he's playing like absolute dog water. Eddie Rosario, not very good. Orlando Arcia's hitting, though. That's weird. But this bottom of the order, not the strongest. I expect Orlando Arcia to cool off. Charlie Morton did not pitch well. I want that to be known. Charlie Morton did not pitch well, and something Braves fans should be looking at. Concerning. Maybe, didn't pitch well. Didn't start the year well last year either. Nick Anderson, though, low-key one of the sneaky better pickups of the season. This dude striking out 4 batters in 1 2/3 innings. He was, of course, the Rays closer when they made it to the World Series in the COVID year, and he was lights out. He was huge for them. Nick Anderson's going to be a big piece for the Braves, and I hate that they got him for absolutely free. That was just a really savvy, smart, really good move. Really good move by the Braves. All right, easy win for them. They're 3-1, first place in the National League East. Now we got the Rangers and Orioles. This game was pretty straightforward. Orioles just scored 2 runs early. Kyle Bradish got knocked out of the game because Jonah Heim hit a line drive off his foot. John Gray had a good start, though. I mean, 7 strikeouts and 6 in the third. You tip your cap there. The Orioles were just simply better, and the offense didn't show up. The bullpen pitched great. If you're a Rangers fan, you're going to have those days where you just don't hit. I mean, you got one hit. You got one hit by the Orioles. Kyle Bradish, Daniel Coulomb. This is Taylor Wells, right? I believe your name is Taylor, not Tyler. Oh, no, it's Tyler Wells. Who's Taylor Wells? Who is Taylor Wells? Why do I know that name? I don't know. But Tyler Wells came in, did the bulk of the pitching, and was phenomenal. Didn't give up a hit, 2 strikeouts. This is the Orioles. They're just going to do that to you sometimes. Gunnar Henderson got his first home run of the season, as well as Jorge Mateo. Gunner's starting to swing the bat a little bit better, 2 for 4 after coming into the game without a single hit on the season. He's a special player, and boy, oh boy, does he have a cannon of the arm. Adley Rutschman is also great. I mean, this is just a good lineup. It's a good lineup. We spoke about it yesterday. Good lineup. They're going to score runs. They're going to beat teams. Comes down to their pitching, and their pitching was cash money yesterday. Same thing with the Rangers. Comes down to their offense, honestly. I think their pitching is going to be very good. What's their offense going to look like? They just flipped yesterday. Rangers fall to 3-1. Orioles at 2-2. This was the big surprise game of the day. This was the big surprising one. The Tigers getting their first win of the season against the Houston Astros. Did not see this one coming. Hunter Brown did not look great, did not look solid in his first start, giving up 4 earned runs in just under 5 innings. Walking guys, giving up hits, did not look sharp, did not look his best, but I'm not giving up on Hunter Brown. He's too talented, too good. The pitching people love him too much. He's a very good pitcher. Bad start. It happens. It's weird that it happened against a bad team like the Tigers, but it happens. And then, of course, the game went to extras. Hector Neris got the loss. I mean, it is what it is. The Astros, Yordan Alvarez, I believe, I had the stat on him. Let me pull this up here. Yordan Alvarez breaks the record, quickest Astro to reach 100 home runs in his career. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but Yordan Alvarez, pretty good player. Pretty good. I think he's like 4th or 5th all-time quickest in Major League Baseball history to reach 100 home runs in their career. 297 average, 384 on base, 592 slugging, and a 976 OPS for Yordan Alvarez's career thus far. 100 home runs, as we know. We'll pull up the numbers here. He's just, He really is from a different planet. It's kind of crazy that this guy could have been in the Dodgers organization. Like, imagine if the Dodgers had Yordan Alvarez. I don't want to. They traded him for Josh Fields. Crazy thinking back on it now that was the trade. But look at these career numbers for him. In 5 years, 372 games, 100 home runs, 400 hits, 91 doubles, 292 RBIs, 976 OPS. He's walked 181 times. He doesn't even really strike out that much. Yordan is probably the best pure hitter in baseball, right? Like, best just straight up talent at the plate when it comes to hitting. Power on base, his ability to not strike out. Like, I know Juan Soto, Mike Trout, Aaron Judge, those guys exist, but is it crazy for me to say that Yordan Alvarez is the best pure hitter in Major League Baseball right now? I don't know if there is a better one. Really, truly, honestly, truthfully. What do you guys think in the chat? Is Yordan Alvarez the best pure hitter in baseball? Is he the best pure hitter in baseball? I don't know why I'm so thirsty this morning, but I guess it's good. Water is good for you. I want to see what you guys are saying. Remember to drop a like on the stream as well. We're at 47. Let's get to 50. Let's get to 50 likes on the stream today. But yeah, Yordan Alvarez, man. So good. While you guys are typing in the chat, waiting for me to respond to what you're saying. Tigers, though. Good game. Tip the cap to the Tigers. Big win over the Astros. That was a good one, especially because they blew it late. And then they came back. They came back in the 10th, or the 11th, I should say. I didn't think that they were going to come back. I thought once they gave up the lead, it was over. They weren't going to be able to come back from this, but they did. Good game from Riley Green, got his first home run of the year off Brian Abreu, which is big, because Brian Abreu is pretty nasty. Matt Vierling got a home run off Neris in the 11th, which gave them the lead, of course. Javi Baez got an RBI, which is big. He still stinks, hitting 133 this year. I don't know why Nick Maton's leading off. I mean, I do. This lineup's just not good. Austin Meadows, I don't know why. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know why Austin Meadows is hitting 6th in this lineup. That one's a bit of a head scratcher. I know he went 0 for 5. Don't know why he's hitting 6th. But A.J. Hinch going back to Minute Maid, getting a win. Matt Boyd on the mound. Did Matt Boyd stuff. That's probably what you can expect for him. He's whatever. Bullpen did a good job for the Tigers. Nice win for them. Was watching this game a little bit on and off, so didn't necessarily get the most in-depth look. But a good win for the Tigers, getting on the board this year with a win. What was probably the most surprisingly exciting game that we've had all year thus far has to be the Guardians versus the A's, 12-11 in extra innings. The A's even almost made a little comeback in the extras. Almost brought it back. They brought it back in the 9th inning, scoring those 2 runs to bring it to extras after they blew it in the 8th. They blew it again in the 10th, almost brought it back. Crazy chaos game. James Kaprielian was not great on the mound whatsoever. Again, we don't like K per 9 because it would tell you, 9 K per 9, good day. Walked a bunch of guys, gave up a bunch of hits. Not a good day for James Kaprielian. My boy, Jeurys Familia, pitched well, though. Not really. He gave up 3 hits. But I love Jeurys Familia. Glad to see that he didn't necessarily give up an earned run. Glad to see he didn't give up an earned run. Trevor May got the loss. Not really his fault. Extra inning losses are kind of, I don't know, it's almost like hockey. You should have like overtime losses, extra inning losses for pitchers. It's just not the same. Domingo Acevedo going 2 innings as well. I don't get it. He was good in the 9th, not great in the 8th. They really like this guy a lot. Esteury Ruiz swinging the bat well. Jace Peterson with a home run. Ramon Laureano with a home run. Seth Brown with a big home run in the 9th, obviously, off of Emmanuel Clase, which is something I did not expect to see whatsoever. That is a matchup that normally goes in the favor of Emmanuel Clase. It was just a chaos game, though. It was so much fun. So many hits. 16 hits by Cleveland. 14 hits by Oakland. This was without a doubt the most fun game of the year. Stephen Kwan with a double. Miles Straw, Jose Ramirez, Josh Naylor with home runs. Bases galore. Hits galore. I think Josh Bell was the only guy, it seems like, in the starting lineup for the Guardians that did not get a hit. And Aledmys Diaz was the only guy for the A's that did not get a hit. So 2 guys who started this game did not get hits. Everybody else got hits. And a ton of multi-hit games. My God. Just look at this. 14 hits and 16 hits. That's exactly what you expect. Not Dan Plesac. That's his uncle. Zach Plesac looked horrendous. He looked bad. Tim Herron came in and got outs again. Xavion Curry, one of the coolest names in baseball. He did his thing. He has some really cool stuff. Manuel Clase, James Karinchak, Eli Morgan with the bullpen closing it down. And the Guardians move on to 4-1. They are the best team in the Central, although the Twins have looked really good this year. All right, Diamondbacks, Padres. This was a fun one. This was a fun game here. You have Ha-Sung Kim with the walk-off home run in the 9th inning. I don't know if you guys heard the Korean broadcast of what was going on with the Ha-Sung Kim call. But if you want to see it, type a 1 in the chat. I'll play the Korean broadcast audio for you guys. Going absolutely wild. Again, this game was a bit back and forth. Padres out early, then the Diamondbacks, then the Padres respond, then the Diamondbacks come back late, and then the Padres get the walk-off. Corbin Carroll hit a home run in this game as well. First home run of the season. Evan Longoria hit a bomb off of, I believe his name is Steven Wilson, in the Padres bullpen in the 9th inning. The Diamondbacks are going to be a pesky little team. Still have not played really good baseball. They're 2-3. I know they've won a couple games against the Dodgers, right? They played the Dodgers to start the year. That feels right. Yeah, they played the Dodgers. They're not really hitting just yet, but I think it's just early in the season. Very, very young team. Corbin Carroll, though, 3 for 4. Love to see that. Got him on my fantasy team. Love that. Want Corbin Carroll to heat up. Ryan Nelson looked decent. Not a great start, but looked decent enough. And for the Padres, you had Ryan Weathers who looked solid. Again, solid. So I talked about this big home run from Ha-Sung Kim, the walk-off home run. I want to talk about the Korean broadcast. Let me go ahead and pull that up for you guys real quick here so we can see the Korean broadcast freak out about Ha-Sung Kim's home run. Let me go to my Twitter and pull this up for you guys real quick. How are we doing in the chat, guys? How are we liking the stream? How are we thinking things are going? You got any comments, questions, concerns, critiques? I'd love to hear them right now while I'm pulling up this video for you. All right, here we go. Ha-Sung Kim. I mean, they just go absolutely bonkers about this home run. And what's funny is, I think Jared Carabas tweeted out the Diamondbacks announcers' reactions to Ha-Sung Kim's walk-off home run. So let me find that one for you guys real quick too, because that was really funny to see. You know, it's 5 games into the year, and the Diamondbacks announcers are like, "It's a home run. It's gone. Thanks. Appreciate it." Yes, he says it best here when he says, sad D-backs broadcast, frowny face. Here we go. He's just like, it's a home run. Game over. Diamondbacks lose. Scott McGough does not have another good outing. I think that's like his second pretty horrible outing of the season for him. Tough one for the Diamondbacks to lose. They played a pretty good game. But the Padres are one of the best teams in baseball, as we know. Tim Hill, my crackhead doppelganger, gets the win. And the Padres move on to 3-2 on the season. 2 more games to cover on the night before we kind of just go into a free-for-all, a little bit of free talking with you guys here. We have the Angels versus the Mariners. Angels game. They were kind of in control from the start. I know they went down early. That completely defeats the purpose of what I've said, but they were just kind of putting pressure on George Kirby early on in this game. Not a great start for George Kirby. 9 hits, 4 earned runs, only 5 strikeouts. Didn't look that great. Walked Mike Trout 3 times and he got hit by a pitch. I had a huge underdog pick thing last night. Ohtani over 1.5 bases. Mike Trout over 1.5 bases. Tom Murphy and Cooper Hummel under half a hit. Everything hit. Mike Trout got a single in the first inning, was looking great, and then he walked 3 times and got hit by a pitch. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating to lose because of that. Things you hate to see. Mike Trout getting walked 4 times. I'm sure if you're an Angels fan, you loved it because you won the game. But for me, as a man who had some cash on, I was not happy. Taylor Ward, I told you yesterday, this dude is really good. This guy is a beast. I'm going to bang the Taylor Ward drum all year long. A big home run late in the game off of Matt Festa in the 8th inning. That really kind of sealed this one up for the Angels, broke it open for them. Angels won this game easily. Reed Detmers looked good. I'm going to say Reed Detmers looked good. 4 2/3, 3 walks, whatever, but the velo is up. Is Savant going to work for us here? I'd love it, Savant, if you could work. Come on, baseball Savant. You can do it. You can do it. I hate that I have to do this. Then go here. Come on. No, it's working. It's working, yes. All right, Reed Detmers' velo is up. Go to player breakdown. Look at this. Fastball, 4-seam up 2 miles an hour last year. If you're sitting at 95 as opposed to 93, Reed Detmers is a different pitcher. That's huge. The slider up almost 4 miles an hour. The difference between 87 and 90 on a slider is huge. And it showed in the, it showed in the production as well. His fastball had a whiff rate of 27%, 30%, 25% is kind of like solid, 30% is pretty gross. 36% whiff rate on the slider is huge. Called strike rate as well was pretty solid, especially with the curveball, dropping him in at 63% of the time for a called strike is going to be huge for Reed Detmers and his game moving forward, he was a little bit wild to start, but he settled in and he looked great. And the velo being boosted up like that is really, really big for Reed Detmers. I actually want to see, did he hold it all game, or was it like early on he was a little bit higher than he was towards the end? I mean, he was 95, 95, 95, the slider coming in at 90. I mean, he was pumping. He was pumping all game. As an Angels fan, you have to be really, really excited to see that. Really, really just good stuff moving forward. And for the Mariners, he just lost. I mean, 1-4, it's not a great start. Julio Rodriguez got on base, scored 2 runs. You need the rest of this line to pick up. A.J. Pollock doesn't have a hit this year. Sam Haggerty doesn't have a hit this year. Tom Murphy doesn't have a hit this year. Cooper Hummel doesn't have a hit this year. I don't understand. I don't understand why you're not playing Cal Raleigh. I don't understand why Cooper Hummel is your choice at DH. A.J. Pollock, I understand against a lefty, he crushes lefties. But this bottom of the order has been atrocious. Teoscar Hernandez has not been hitting. The 3 guys that are 3 of the 4 guys that are the best hitters on your team. Julio, Ty France, Eugenio Suarez have been. Nobody else on this team has. That's why they're losing games. It's really that simple. They're just not consistently hitting the ball right now. Angels move on. They're 3-1 on the year. Looking pretty good thus far. Moving us to our last game of the night. Very straightforward. The Dodgers are better than the Rockies. The Rockies stink. Ryan Feltner is not a good pitcher. I don't really want to make this a show where I shit on guys, but also at the same time, I got to be a little concise. And Ryan Feltner's not a good pitcher. He's bad. 5 earned runs in 4 2/3 innings, 7 strikeouts, 5 walks. Again, this is why K per 9 is a bad stat, and K rate is way better, because if you look at what's going on with Ryan Feltner, you would say, oh, 7 strikeouts in 4 2/3. That's really good. He's got some good strikeout stuff. But then you see, 5 walks. And 4 hits. He had a whip of two yesterday. It's not great. It's not great there for Ryan Feltner. So Rockies, I mean, this is what you can expect. They're not going to be one of the better teams in this division. I don't even know who this bird is. Connor Siebold is bad. You kind of just, it's where your career goes to die as a pitcher. While their offense is still okay-ish, not better than the Dodgers. And the Dodgers really took advantage of them last night. Freddie Freeman, 3 for 4. A great day for Freef. Will Smith with another home run. Is he going by W.D. Smith now? Interesting. W.D. Smith. Did not know that was going to be what's on the box score. Jason Hayward got his first home run, because of course he did, because of course the Dodgers would get Jason Hayward, and he's probably going to go back to being a pretty good baseball player. Decent start to the year, 2 for 3 last night. Chris Taylor also got his first home run. Max Muncy looks horrible. JD Martinez looks great. James Outman had 2 triples. And on the pitching side, Michael Grove was meh, but the bullpen was cash money after that. Alex Vesia is disgusting. Phil Bickford has some of the best stuff plus numbers, I believe, in the league. And of course, Shelby Miller is going to be disgusting for the Dodgers. Is this a shock to anybody that the Dodgers would be like, oh, Shelby Miller, you haven't been good in how many years? Let's just take a look at Shelby Miller and talk about how bad he's been for the last, few years? Shelby Miller hasn't been good since, 2015 in his lone All-Star appearance. Granted, he did lose 17 games that year, but you see his numbers, 200 innings. Hasn't been good since then. Has simply not been good since 2015. The Dodgers go, you know what? We're going to give you a chance. You've only thrown 19 innings the last few years at the major league level, and they've been a bad 19, but I think we got something with you. I think you're going to be pretty good. And Shelby Miller this year has pitched 3 innings, has been absolutely untouchable, 4 strikeouts out of 10 batters, so a 40% K rate. Of course, unsustainable. It's a very, very small sample, but he's been absolutely disgusting. I want to see what his stuff has looked like. Is the velo up? I want to know what magic dust the Dodgers are sprinkling on a guy like Shelby Miller to make him just, disgusting. Disgusting. Why is it doing this? Motherfucker. Give me from yesterday. Come on. Baseball Savant, thank you. Why are you giving me troubles, Baseball Savant, here? All right. I want to see what his stuff looked like yesterday. I didn't actually get a chance to look at that. So you guys get to see. Did I click preview? I think I clicked preview. No! I want game feed, not preview. Here we go. All right. So let's go to player breakdowns. Let's scroll down to Shelby Miller. His velo is down. Wow, look at this whiff rate from Shelby Miller on the fastball. 44% whiff rate on the fastball. 7 whiffs on 16 pitches. Are you kidding me? Are you nuts? 50% on the slider, only on 2 swings, 6 pitches, but still disgusting. The splitter, oh my God, this is going to be the guy. This is going to be the guy this year. While the velo is down a little bit, although he was still throwing 95 at his top, and the slider's coming in at 83. That pitch differential, that speed differential is actually something that's pretty disgusting, and you don't see too often with fastballs and sliders. Shelby Miller, man. Oh, he's so good. He's going to be so good for this team. I can't believe that the Dodgers picked up Shelby Miller, and he's just going to be absolutely disgusting like that. Like, oh, they're so frustrating. They're so frustratingly good, the Dodgers. Even when you doubt them, they're going to be good. Back to first place in the National League West, scoring runs, dominating. They're just very good. They're very good. That's all you can say about the Dodgers is they're very, very good. All right, moving on here. This takes us into the portion where you in the chat have the opportunity to ask me any questions that I will answer about baseball, whatever you want to talk about. Maybe there's something that gets me to spark a little more conversation, go on a tangent. It's also the time where I remind you guys that I'm partnered up with Underdog. If you see the top of the chat, there is a linked link. There's a pinned link. That's what I wanted to say. A pinned link to Underdog, sponsor of the channel. You can go ahead and use promo code GNM for GiraffeNeckMarc when you sign up, and they will match your first-time deposit up to $100. That means if you put in $100, they'll give you $100 on top of it for absolutely free to give you a total of $200 in your account that you can go ahead and play with. We have things like daily fantasy contests that you can get involved in. We have Underdog picks that you can go ahead, higher or lower. You can say higher or lower. This is my pick for today, as you can see right here. We've got Kenta Maeda higher than 4.5 strikeouts. Domingo Germán lower than 5. Sandy Alcantara lower than 6.5. And Julio Urias higher than 5.5. I put $7 down on these picks to win 70. If these all come through, we're a pretty good day. Be feeling pretty happy about it. So if you want to try it out for yourself, link is pinned at the top of the chat to Underdog. You can click that link, use promo code GNM to get your first-time deposit matched by Underdog up to $100. Helps support the channel, helps me do things like this. I really do appreciate it. Go ahead and reading some of the questions in chat from you guys. Let's see what they say. Do you think Adley will be the best catcher in baseball after this season? Yes and no. I don't think people would be wrong in saying it, but I don't think JT Realmuto is going to give up that crown. Like, to me, JT Realmuto has to give it up. I don't think Adley Rutschman is going to be able to play well enough to win it. Like, Realmuto has to take a step back and Rutschman has to get better. Will Smith is also still in that competition too. Like, Will Smith is number 2. I still think he's probably a little ahead of Adley, but it's so incredibly close. It's nice that we have like 3 just absolutely elite catchers right now in Major League Baseball. Those guys are some of the best in the league. Adley could be it, though, by the end of the year. I wouldn't be surprised if that is more of the answer you're looking for. Also, guys, remember to subscribe to the channel if you like what we're seeing here. We're doing a daily live stream Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. it starts, goes as late as 1 o'clock. We have not really gotten close to that time just yet, but that's going to be kind of the goal. It's never going to go later than that. So if you like what you're seeing, subscribe and drop a like on the stream. It really does help support. Marvin Cook says the Giants are going to be winning 90 games. Marvin, couldn't disagree less. The Giants team stinks right now. The Giants are bad. I think Gabe Kapler's a bad manager. The offense, while it did pop off yesterday, it's not good. It's not good. So Marvin, hate to rain on your parade. You know what? If you're a Giants fan, I hope you keep that energy. I want you to think they're going to win 90 games, but I don't know if they're going to win 80 games. I don't know if they're going to win 80 games. 90 is... if I could take that bet somewhere, I would. I would take the under in a heartbeat. I'd put $10,000 on it. There's no way they win 90 games. What do you think of the Astros slump? Little World Series hangover. Let's give a cliche here. The Astros slump, I think, is a World Series hangover. Nothing more, nothing less. The Sports Cave, thoughts on Dalton Varsho? I think he's a great athlete. I think he's a great player. I think he's a really good pickup for the Blue Jays. Start of the season, everything with a grain of salt. Don't get worried or concerned just yet. Who has more cause for concern, Fujinama or Burnett? I'm not going to lie. Who is Burnett? I legitimately don't know who Burnett is. And if this is like a D's nuts joke, you got me. But who is Burnett? I don't know who that is. I have no clue who Burnett is. You stumped me, Joseph. Only one name. Do you think Ozzie Albies is a top 10 second baseman? I had the argument about this with someone in the chat. No, I don't. I did my rankings going into the year. I think Ozzie Albies is not a top 10 second baseman. I think he's so incredibly overrated. So incredibly overrated. Ronald Acuna winning NL MVP? Not a bad pick. He's off to a fire start. We know he has the talent to do so. We know he's been at that MVP level before. Ronald Acuna to win MVP is something that very, very well could happen. Do you think the Padres will make a deadline trade for a pitcher or a bat? Will their package include Jackson Merrill? I think it has to include Jackson Merrill. I think he's probably the most likely prospect to get traded in that farm system right now just because he's really good. He's very hyped. And they just signed Jake Cronenworth to like a 6-year extension. They have Ha-Sung Kim for a while. They have Fernando Tatis for a while. They have Xander Bogaerts for a while. They have Manny Machado for a while. There's seemingly no room for Jackson Merrill in the infield. And he's a good prospect. You could trade him. You could trade him and get a lot for him right now. I think he ends up getting moved. And yeah, I think a pitcher is probably the one that's going to happen more. So reading the chat a little bit more here. I have a question. Are you attending the MLB London series? That's for my friend Kieran SFF, a legendary FIFA YouTuber from the FIFA community, Player Review King, of course. If you guys are around in FIFA 14, 15, 16 days, you know all about Kieran. Yes, I am going to the MLB London series. I'll be seeing you there, dude. If you guys are going to be in London, make sure you say what's up. Unbiased opinion, do you think the Phillies can turn around? For sure. For sure, I think they can. Do I think they will? A little bit. I don't think they're going to be like a last place team like they are right now, but I still stand by the fact that I don't think they're making the playoffs, Josephine. I don't think they're making it. I don't think they're making the playoffs, and I think what we've seen these first 4 games is just a microcosm of what the Philly season's going to be. They're going to be let down. I think that's just what it is. When do you think the Pirates have a shot at the playoffs and when the rebuild ends? Next year. I think next year could be that year where the Pirates compete for a shot at the playoffs, at 2024. Yordan, clutchest player in MLB. He is really clutch. Will tier list return this year? Yes, tier list will return. Maybe we'll do some on this stream. Again, we're still building out the show here. And again, I would love to hear anything you guys would love to see added to this to make it a better experience for you. We've had 2 shows so far. I think they've gone relatively smoothly outside of some lag and a late start because of computer updating. Graphics, I'm sure, is something that are going to be coming more. Video content, more like defined topics and roles and stuff. I'm still learning how to create a live show. I've never done something like this before, so any comments or concerns or critiques that you guys have, very much appreciated. What piece do the Rangers need to add to be a legit contender? A bat. They need more offense, I think. I think their pitching's good. Maybe some bullpen arms, too. Maybe some bullpen arms. That's where I think they kind of are. Hey, Mark, have you heard of David Villar and the Giants now? Yes, he hit a bomb yesterday. I know all about him. Braves win 110-plus games this year. No, Will. That's not happening. What do you think the Diamondbacks should do with their bullpen? Should they trade for someone and who? I mean, yes, they should improve. I don't think they should get crazy because I don't think there's any reason to go balls to the wall right now when they're not a contending team that can win a World Series this year. Just develop pitchers. I think that's really their best line of action right now. How would you fix the Marlins, Mark? Get better players. That would be how I'd fix them. Get better players and move Jazz Chisholm out of center field. Joseph said, Burns makes way more sense than Burnett. Burns makes more sense than Burnett. Not concerned about Corbin Burns at all. Not concerned about him in the slightest. Now, he pitches game 3 against the Mets later this or tomorrow, I should say. If he has another bad start, maybe you get a little bit more concerned, but I'm not concerned at all just yet. How will the AL East go now in comparison to your list? I'm sticking with it. I'm not making any changes to my predictions whatsoever just yet. We're 5 games in, max for some teams. I'm not an overreactor. If you guys want someone who overreacts, that won't be me, but you know that too. Marvin Cook, that is your hot take? Okay, that makes sense, Marvin. That makes sense. A few more questions here. Have I booked a hotel for MLB London yet? Kieran, I think me and Wheels said we're going to try and do that Friday, if you're around. Why do I hate the Giants so much? I don't hate the Giants so much. It gets blown out of proportion. I just tell Giants fans the truth and they don't want to hear it. They're a bad team. It's just that simple. Me telling you the truth about the expectations of a team that you unfortunately root for, Marvin, I love you. I don't hate them. They get overrated by their fans a lot, and their fans are very vocal about it, so I have to talk about it a lot. Think the Mets can get Josh Hader? Josh Hader's not being traded at the deadline. Dave Bednar, like they could, but I don't think it's worth it. To be fair, bottom of the Astros lineup is atrocious. Not as bad as it's made out to be. Like, they don't have good players, but they're not as bad as some of these other teams. What's up, Woogie Man? How you doing? Will any team get to 110 wins this year? I don't think so. Do the Tigers have solid pitching? No. Am I drinking the Pirates Kool-Aid? I think you probably got that answer based on what I was saying. No, not yet. VR hit 2 bombs? Oh, he hit 2. I missed it. I guess he hit 2. David VR. Dude, kiss of death, man. I said, who is this guy? Why is he playing? He hit 2 home runs. That's why he's playing. Should I start to be concerned with Josiah Gray? Yes. Yes, I mean, the Nationals have not really shown the ability to develop any pitching recently, so that's a little bit concerning. Who do you think has a higher ceiling, Corbin Carroll or Drew Jones? Drew Jones. Michael Grove was apparently under the weather in his start, looking for him to bounce back next start. Yeah, no, Michael Grove has looked solid. He did what they needed him to do yesterday, and if he was under the weather, probably will pitch better. What if I told you Rendon had that dog in him? Would you watch my clip that went up on the channel yesterday? Of course Rendon has that dog in him. He's a beast. Are there any new stadiums you're going to this season? I haven't booked out my plans just yet. The new stadium I'll be going to is the one in England. I don't actually know where it's being played in England. Is it being played at West Ham Stadium? I'm not sure, but that will be the only guaranteed new stadium I'm going to. I'm trying to go to Seattle as well for the All-Star game. That would be a new one. There's just too much remaining pain from the Connor Gillespie home run. I don't care about Connor Gillespie anymore. Player of the week and team of the week is something that I should do. Okay, John, I'm going to write that one down. I'm writing it down on a piece of paper. Player of the week and team of the week. I like that. Team of the week. I think those are good suggestions. I appreciate you giving me that one. That's something that I think we can definitely work on for next week. Will Trout come with? Will Shohei get traded? Will Trout come with? Shohei, it'll depend how they're playing. If they're out of it, I think he gets traded. If they're competing, he's staying. A few more questions here before I wrap up the stream, as I do have to go to lunch. Again, I'm just going to throw this on the screen. Underdog, link at the top of the chat. Go sign up for your first-time deposit. They'll match up to $100. These are my picks for the day. If you want to tail them or fade them or follow them, do as you please. We'll do appreciate it. When will Brett Beatty get called up? Honestly, not sure. I'm probably going to say May 1st, I think is going to be the date. Favorite MLB stadium that I've been to? PNC Park. Absolutely loved it. Out in Pittsburgh. Pirates people treated me unbelievably nice. It's a great stadium, great food, everything about it. I loved it. I loved the city of Pittsburgh. Had a great time there, which is a weird sentence. Never thought I'd say it. Fun city, great time. I can't wait to go back. Daily fantasy picks as a segment on the show. Yep, I think we could maybe work in, because Underdog also has fantasy drafts. So I think we could also do maybe one fantasy draft to show as well to incorporate with this. And maybe then you guys can get involved in the fantasy draft, and we can do you guys go up against me if you want to get involved with that as well. I think that would be a lot of fun if you guys are cool with that. I'd love to do that. You can let me know in the chat. I've been to every MLB stadium. That's cool. I'm trying to do that. Should I be worried about the Mariners? No, don't be worried. I'd just be worried about the bottom of that order because it's getting no production, and I don't know if they will. But no, I don't think you should be worried. How much would the Angels get in a trade for Ohtani compared to the Soto trade? Take the Soto trade and add a little bit more. I think that's what they would get. Think Steven Strasburg's done in baseball? Unfortunately, I think he might be, which sucks because they gave him that big contract, and he's a great pitcher, and I don't want to see anybody, end their career, especially a guy like Strasburg who had so much talent because of an injury, but it's not looking great. Building off players / team of the week, you should make a team of players that the week, like all NBA teams or NFL All Pros. You should make a team of players of the week, like all NBA. Okay, yeah, I think that's the team of the week thing. So you're agreeing. You like that idea. Favorite under the radar prospect? I think my favorite under the radar prospect right now. It's a really good question. I really like Brian Ramos in Chicago White Sox. He's someone that I think is really good. I'm trying to think of some cards that I have. I've been selling a lot just because cards are down right now. Under the radar prospect. I'm going through all these teams. This will be the last question I answer here. Mets, no. I mean, I do love some of the Mets prospects, but none of them are really under the radar right now. Braves, no. I love TJ White. That's my boy. Aaron Zavala is good with the Rangers. I was all over Tovar last year. I'm going to go Brian Ramos. Brian Ramos is my under-the-radar guy. Someone who's still not in top 100s, who I think is very, very good. Brandon Pfaadt's very good. He's not under the radar. But, guys, that's going to be the end of today's show. Thank you so much for coming out. We will be back tomorrow, again, 11 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. We will be back talking about everything baseball. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel so that you get notified when I'm going live. When I get notified when I'm putting out clips, the live stream will stay up. So if you missed anything, you can go back and watch it, as well as there will be clips uploaded today to the channel. So you can catch up on those if you want to do that too. Follow me on all my social media at GiraffeNeckMarc. Drop a like on the stream. And that's where I'll wrap it up, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And I'll see you tomorrow back at 11 a.m. for another This Is Baseball stream. Thank you, guys. Catch you next time.